Hello everyone, my name is Chip, and today we're playing a green-white Loris deck with some new Strixhaven cards in it. So, is today's deck a Death and Taxes deck or a Hatebears deck? Now, I don't think the answer is very black and white. I think whether your deck is a Hatebears deck or a Death and Taxes deck is where it sits on a spectrum more than a black and white answer between the two. My understanding of Hatebears is it was a deck built to combat the Rock and Jun style decks of the day using cheap creatures that resisted removal or hand hate. Taxes, however, is an anti-meta deck that's built using creature effects that punish decks for playing too many spells or too many search effects, and this forces your opponent to play off kilter. But Taxes being an anti-meta deck may become a Hatebears list, and a Hatebears list may run the go-to taxing pieces of Arbiter and Thalia. I would say that today's deck is definitely leaning more towards the Hatebears style, but it's still running the go-to Taxes cards too. So we've got our 4 Aether Vial, 4 Arbiters, and 3 Thalias. Our other 1-drops are 3 Noble Hierarch, 2 Hex Drinker, and 4 Path to Exile. To ruin our opponent's removal, we're running 2 Selfless Spirit, 3 Loyal Cathar, and 4 Voice of Resurgence. Loyal Cathar returns as Unhallowed Cathar in the end step after it dies, and Voice of Resurgence leaves behind a token and grants us a token if an opponent tries to cast a spell during our turn. Both of these cards interact very well with the main engine of the deck, Evolutionary Leap. We're running 3 of them in the deck, and it can help us replace our creatures that might otherwise be destroyed in combat or with our opponent's removal. With Loris on the field, it becomes a powerful engine, enabling us to overwhelm our opponents with creatures. Loyal Cathar and Voice of Resurgence can get us multiple creatures thanks to their new bodies, and with a board of Loris, Voice, and Leap, we can amass a massive board of tokens while filling our hand with creatures to replace them should our opponent ever hit a board wipe. And now, the Strixhaven cards. I, like many other content creators, have been scrambling to get my hands on the new goodies that Strixhaven has to offer. And for today's deck, I'm testing 4 Bayou Groff and 4 Professor of Symbology. Bayou Groff is a 2-mana 5/4 plant dog that, as an additional casting cost, requires us to sack a creature or pay 3 extra mana. With Loris as our companion and a bunch of creatures that replace themselves when they die, we're happy to sacrifice a creature. And if we use Aether Vial, we don't even need to worry about it. Professor of Symbology, when it enters, we get to learn. Taxes decks normally run Stoneforge Mystic as a toolbox card that can tutor up powerful equipment to help them get ahead. Unfortunately, with Loris as our companion, our options are rather limited, and I'm not really in the mood to play a Hammer Time deck. When Professor of Symbology enters the battlefield, we get to learn. When we learn, we get to tutor a lesson card from our sideboard into our hand. And because it's coming from the sideboard, it's unaffected by Arbiter's tax. This means we can have a wide range of narrow effects pre-board in game 1. For today's package, I'm trying out 1 Reduced to Memory as some catch-all removal that exchanges a 3/2 body for a non-land permanent. 1 Containment Breach to deal with our opponent's artifacts and enchantments, and we can sometimes get a little Pest token that we can leap away into a better body later. A 1-of Pest Summoning for some extra bodies that gain us life when they die. 1 Spirit Summoning just gets us a 3/2 Spirit token for some extra muscle. And lastly, 2 Basic Conjurations, a 3-mana sorcery that lets us look at the top 6 cards of our deck and put a creature card from among them into our hand, and then we gain 3 life. This is a great card that helps us dig for answers. And if we don't want any of these cards, the Learn mechanic also enables us to discard a card and draw a card instead. Now for the rest of the sideboard. Because we're running Loris as a companion and 7 lessons in the board, we're reduced to just 8 slots. So we're running 1 Phyrexian Revoker, 1 Aethersworn Canonist, 1 Remorseful Cleric, 1 Winds of Abandon, 1 Gaddock Teague, 1 Quasali Pride Mage, and 2 Uruk Champions. And that's today's deck. Now before we get into the games, I just want to preemptively apologize and say that I'm recording this intro after I played today's league. And full disclosure, these games are filled with mistakes, missequences, and misplays galore, and it becomes very apparent that this list needs some tweaking. Normally these kinks would be worked out in testing, but getting my hands on Strixhaven cards has eaten into a lot of that time. And as far as misplays go, I think we can all appreciate that sometimes you forget you can Ghost Quarter your own land, path your own creature, or that your Noble Hierarch does in fact tap for mana. And while I like to pretend that I'm the best player that ever was, I think this video is pretty cool despite these issues, and demonstrates some of the cool and powerful stuff the deck can do even with an incompetent pilot like me at the helm. So if you wanted to watch some top tier gameplay, this might not be the league for you. But if you do enjoy this video by leaving a like, that lets me know this is more of the content you'd like to see. And if you really enjoy this video, by showing the channel to a friend or subscribing, you're helping the channel grow and keeping the content coming. Alright, on to the games. Okay, round 1, we've won the die roll. Reveal our Loris. Unkeepable hand. That's a mulligan. Think we can swing this one. Put a Temple Garden away. Let's play the Temple Garden. Tapped. Pass the turn there. Forest from our opponent. Into a Utopia Sprawl. Naming red. Okay, well, we could be in trouble. Go to our turn. Ghost Quarter. Blow it up now, I guess. Pass the turn there. Stomping Ground. Tapped. Okay. Draw another voice. We'll play Forest. Yeah, let's go Thalia. Pass the turn there. Ooh, Bayou Groff. Okay. Let's play Razor Verge. Let's just get a voice down here. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Just means if they want to bolt the Thalia, voice will get us a token. All right. Pass the turn there. Utopia Sprawl on the Forest. Okay. That Ghost Quarter has just paid nothing but dividends for us. A Hex Drinker. Gonna go to combat, swing in for 4. Opponent takes it down to 16, and then I think this is the turn. Groff, sacrifice the voice. Get ourselves an elemental. Run out a Hex Drinker, pass the turn there. Alright, we're threatening a lot of damage, I think. Almost lethal. Opponent has the Stomping Ground. Bloodbraid Elf. Cascades into Bone Crusher Giant. Okay, those are 2 very good creatures, but I think we outclass them. Pass back to us. Let's run out our voice. Let's go to combat. And yeah, let's swing all out. All right, opponent's going to block the Hex Drinker twice. Okay, nope. Blocking the Hex Drinker with the Bone Crusher and the Bloodbraid Elf. Nope, just the Bloodbraid Elf. Okay, back and forth on this blocking and the Thalia. Okay, well, we get in for 10. Opponent is down to 2. Pass the turn there. Seasoned Pyromancer from our opponent. Okay, Forest. No attacks and passing. Okay. Ooh. Let's run out the Evolutionary Leap. Go to combat. Swing in with everything. All right, opponent's going to trade and trade. Sure. Get ourselves another voice token. Pass it there. Stomp on the Elemental. Okay. Glorybringer. Leash. That's a big boy. Opponent getting in for 4. Well, we'll take it. Down to 16. Aether Vial. Let's play the Aether Vial. Run out the Loyal Cathar. Pass the turn there. All right, they're swinging in for 4. Take it down to 12. And they've got a Seasoned Pyro. I'm getting worried. These last few points of damage are going to be very hard to deal. They discard 2 lands. Okay. They play another land. Tapped. Okay. Our turn. Aether Vial. Ticking up. Arbiter's pretty cool. Let's go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent blocks with the Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. Gonna run out another Loyal Cathar. Pass the turn there. Get our Unhallowed Cathar back. Utopia Sprawl on the Forest. Okay. Naming red again. Opponent swinging in with that Glorybringer. All right, we're down to 8. And they pass to us. So this looks like a Seasoned Pyromancer turn to me. Okay, let's go to combat. Swing in with both our creatures. Opponent is bringing back the Seasoned Pyromancer. Tokens. All right, we'll let the Unhallowed Cathar go. Ghost Quarter, activate the Aether Vial, Arbiter back in, and hit the Forest with all the lands on it. Goes away, opponent doesn't get to search, and Loris to hand. Pass the turn there. Can you kill us, opponent? Swinging in with the Glorybringer. Hits us for 4. Just casting a Bone Crusher Giant. Okay. And has the Wooded Foothills. Passes to us. Well, this Aether Vial's ticking up. We need to be able to deal with this Glorybringer somehow. Just cast a Bayou Groff, sacking the Loyal Cathar. Pass the turn there. Opponent goes to combat. Only swings with the Glorybringer. They know what they're doing, and we're dead. Go to sideboard. Winds of Abandon in. Uriok Champions in. Gaddock Teague in. Quasali Pride Mage in. And Phyrexian Revoker and Aethersworn Canonist. Thalias we can go down. Let's cut 2 Loyal Cathar, a Groff, and a Leap. Run it back like that. Had him early, but we just couldn't get to the late game. Reveal our Loris. We're going to keep this one. Let's go Ghost Quarter into an Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Forest from our opponent. Arbor Elf. Okay. Opponent passes back to us. Aether Vial, ticking up. Let's go Horizon Canopy. Run the other Aether Vial off that. Pass the turn there. That way, if they're planning on doing anything fancy with Utopia Sprawl, we can Ghost Quarter in response. Stomping Ground from our opponent. Untapped. All right, tapping for 3. Blood Moon. All non-basic lands and mountains. Well, let's... Did we hit the Forest here? Did we hit anything here? Let's see, if we hit the Stomping Ground, and they get a mountain, that's fine. If we hit the Forest, and let's go for Stomping Ground. Maybe they get green here and we take them off red. No, they get the mountain, okay. Passing the turn. Well, let's tick up our Aether Vials. Play a Temple Garden. Just pass the turn there. All right, opponent adding mana. Khan the Great Creator. Okay, well, Aether Vial. Use its ability. Bayou Groff into play. They can tick up the Khan, sort of survive another hit. They tick down. Okay. What are they revealing? Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, let's go to our turn. Eighth Vial and Eighth Vial. Okay, tick up 1, keep the other on 2. Plains, that's good. Play the Plains. Attack Khan the Great Creator. Let's play Professor of Symbology. Just get ourselves a Containment Breach. Pass the turn there. And I took out a Forest for a dual land as well. Here I was thinking Blood Moon was done. 3 mana for a Pillage. Okay. Activate the Eighth Vial in response. Voice of Resurgence into play. Sure, you've destroyed my Eighth Vial. Their end step, activate the Eighth Vial. Loyal Cathar into play. I am going to tick up the Eighth Vial here. Am I? No, I'll do that next turn. Okay, Ghost Quarter. Let's play that. Get our Loris to hand. Go to combat. Swing in with everything. Opponent takes it down to 7. Pass the turn there. So if we had ticked up the Eighth Vial there, then we could play the other Eighth Vial. Okay, opponent plays a land. Tapping and untapping that Arbor Elf. 4 mana Chandra. Okay. Adding mana. Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. So that stops one of our creatures from attacking. Go to our turn. Put a counter on our Eighth Vial. Another land. Okay. Let's hit them for a bunch. Okay, they're down to 1. Pass the turn there. They're adding mana with the Chandra. They want to empty their hand. Khan the Great Creator. And I passed and didn't get my Loris into play. Ah, well. Clothis. Okay. Little gross. Ticking up the Khan. Okay, well, now we need a forest. 1 forest, that's all I'm asking for. We're running 2. Horizon Canopy. Well, we'll play it. Pass the turn. Well, unfortunately, victory is slipping away again. Yep, Clothis eating some stuff. More lands from our opponent. Ticking up that Chandra. Gets an Arbor Elf. Khan ticking down. Elixir of Immortality. Yep. Gaining life, shuffling cards away. Passing to us. Forest. Come on, a forest. Oh, okay. Specifically a basic forest, please. I know you gave me what I asked for, but all right. Pass the turn there. Lots of lands, none of it green. And eats our Ghost Quarter. Gets themselves some mana. Khan ticking up. No, ticking down. Okay, what are they getting now? Liquid Metal Coating. Okay. Passes with 2 cards in hand. Okay. Sure, you've pinned our Plains. Wasn't really going to be using it anyway. We won't use Eighth Vial either. Again, not a green land, but it's not your fault. You could have been the Plains. This is what I added over a forest. Could have been. All right, let's launch everything at Chandra. All right, that forces all blocks. Now, if we had activated Eighth Vial and put the Loris into play, we could recast the Professor. I mean, they would have Liquid Metal Coating, but eventually we might be able to recast the Professor and start looting. Not looting, rummaging. That's okay, we got the attack in. That did wipe our opponent's board, so then they have the Chandra emblem to win. All right, they eat the Professor. All right, Chandra down. Bloodbraid Elf, that is a very painful one. Bloodbraid Elf hits. Seasoned Pyro. Okay, well, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're dead. Damn. One more spell and we're dead. Yep, they're revealing an artifact, so that's going to do it, unfortunately. Damn, I felt really good about those. We got in damage really quickly. We got our opponent really low, but we just lacked a bit of the punch at the end. Well. Good games, opponent. All right, we've lost the die roll this time around. We'll reveal our Loris. Yeah, we'll keep this one. Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Cracks it immediately. Steam Vents, okay. Monastery Swiftspear. Gets in for 1. All right, we'll take it. Down to 19. Go to our turn. Razorverge Thicket. Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Another Path is good. Another Swiftspear from our opponent. Swinging in for 2. Okay, stuck on 1 land. I hope. Tick up that Aether Vial. Professor of Symbology. Okay. Well, Razorverge Thicket, and it's got to be Thalia here. Pass the turn there. Opponent swinging in. So they could have, say, Gut Shot here, and that hurts. Let's not block. I'm not going to risk it. Yep, down to 15. And they pass to us. Okay. Aether Vial. Doing its thing. Another Razorverge Thicket is very good. Okay, let's just pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent goes to combat. No attacks. Cool. Their end step. Activate the Aether Vial. Let's go Professor of Symbology. Could have got Loris to hand there, couldn't we? Let's get a basic Conjuration. Go to our turn. Oh, we were holding up paths. So yes, we could have, but we weren't going to, were we? We wanted our paths. Won't tick up our Aether Vial. Ghost Quarter's pretty good. Let's go for a main phase basic Conjuration. Absolutely getting that Leonin Arbiter. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down to 15, and we're just going to pass the turn there. So Arbiter and Paths just close this game out, I suppose. goes. Opponent swinging in, we're happy to take it. Happy to take it. Opponent hard casting a mutagenic growth. Okay, down to 12. In their end step, Aether Vial in, the Arbiter. Okay, Aether Vial staying on 2 for this Selfless Spirit. Leap is very good. Path and Ghost Quarter. And opponent scoops it up. All right, good game. What do we want against this? Uric Champions are good. Aether Sworn Canonist and Winds of Abandon. I think that's it. What do we go down? Let's cut a couple of Bayous, hey? Let's cut them all. We don't need to swing in for big numbers. We just need to keep hitting. And I think Voice of Resurgence loops and stuff with Uriok Champion is very good. All right, run it back like that. Fingers crossed for an Uriok Champion hand. Reveal our Loris. It is an Uriok Champion hand. And it's got the 8th Swan Canonist. Yeah, we'll keep. Steam Vents from our opponent. Monastery Swiss Beer. Would have loved this Noble Hierarch to be a land. All right, they swing in for 1. Take it down to 19. Pass to us. Professor of Symbology. Okay, that'll be good later. Rising Canopy. Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn. Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Cracks it. Mountain. Manamorphose. This is just a big bird. I can handle a big bird. Into another Manamorphose. Okay, a little worse. Would have loved to have dropped that 8th Sworn Canonist. To a Serum Visions, okay. Hopefully just another creature now. Bolting the Noble Hierarch. Okay, that's rough. Well, now we desperately need that land. Monastery Swiftspear getting in for 5. Yep, we're down to 13 already. Go to our turn. Oh, okay. Pass the turn. We've got the Path, so that's all right. But that gives them another land, and then we're still down. Plays and cracks a Wooded Foothills. It's a Steam Vents untapped. Okay. Goes to combat, swinging in for 1. I think we take the opportunity and path it. Opponent throwing a bolt at our face. Yep, and that's the Stormwing. Scrying 2. Come on, land. 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 There's 19 more of them in the deck. Oy. All right, well, we're dead. All right, I think the sideboarding was good. Just need to get the lands. That was probably a greedy keep, but yeah, like to play first. I haven't learned a thing. I'd probably keep that hand again. All right, keep this one. Double Aether Vial hand. Lots of lands. It's good. Bit of removal. I like it. Razor Verge Thicket into an Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Mountain from our opponent into a Soulscar Mage. Okay, passes to us. Aether Vial, ticking up. That is an Uriok Champion. Temple Garden. Yeah, we'll pay 2 life. Run out the Uriok Champion. Pass the turn there. Wooded Foothills. Cracking it. Steam Vents. Untapped. Burst Lightning at our face. Okay, down to 16. Light up the stage. Okay. Stormwing Entity and Lava Dart. Okay, things we need to be aware of. They pass the turn there, tick up the Aether Vial. Ghost Quarter's cool, but not just yet. We're going to get Loris to hand now, and then we're going to activate the Aether Vial, throw down a Thalia, gain some life, and hopefully keep that Stormwing Entity trapped. Pass the turn there, no attacks, and it adds 2 mana. Goes for the Lava Dart on the Thalia. That's fine. I will get that back with a Loris in a heartbeat. No attacks. Passes to us. Aether Vial ticking up to 3. Professor of Symbology. Okay. Well, Ghost Quarter. Professor of Symbology. Yep. Okay. Gain a life. Let's go for basic conjuration here. Aether Vial. Yes. Loris. Yep. Gaining life. Thalia. Gaining life. No attacks this turn and pass. So hopefully, even if they kill the Loris, we've got enough out of it. Lightning Bolt. Yep, has to kill the Loris. No attacks and passes. Aether Vial on 3 is pretty disappointing in this deck, but you do what you got to do. While they're tapped out, I think we go for the basic conjuration here. Hex Drinker feels pretty powerful. Temple Garden tapped. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent's just going to block. Okay. We had first strike there. Did opponent think they could zero their Lava Dart? Because they can't. And now if they tap out, Hex Drinker and Pro Instance. Oof. Lava Dart. Getting rid of the Thalia. They really don't want this Hex Drinker to come down. I'm really happy for that to have happened, actually. That's pretty cool. If they have to sack mountains. Oh, if they have to sack mountains. All right. Aether Vial. Not ticking up. Path to Exile. Solid pickup. Go to combat. Swing in. Opponent takes it down to 14. Forest. Play the Hex Drinker. Gain a life. Hex Drinker leveling up. I'm going to make him sack a land. They didn't. All right. Ghost Quarter. Run out the Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Fiery Islet. Okay. Vapor Snag on the Uriok Champion. Okay. Yeah, it's very fair. And that is a Stormwing Entity. Okay. Pass the turn to us. Tick up our Aether Vial. Keep the other one on 3. Ghost Quarter. Well, we'll play it. Just level up this Hex Drinker to protection from everything levels. Okay, now it is very hard for them to deal with. Go to combat, swing in for 6, take it down to 7. Yeah, I'll pass the turn there. If they play creatures, we can overload a Winds of Abandon. We have choices. All right, Monastery, Swift Spear. Vapor Snag on the Professor. Okay, yep, that actually buys them a turn. But at what cost, really? All right, now they swing in for 7, take it down to 16, go to our turn. 1/8 of Isle ticks up, the other one stays on 3. Arbiter's pretty cool. Let's go to combat, swing in for 6. Uriok Champion, to make the 8th of Isle. And opponent scoops it up. Can't beat it. Oh, I really like that. So what we were going to do with the Professor was get 2 creatures in board spell. What's that one? The Pest Summoning. So we get 2, we gain 2 life, and then we have 2 more creatures that they have to try and deal with. Oh, so good. So good. All right, that was pretty solid. That feels like a better representation of what your Professor of Symbology can do and what this deck can do, and I'm very happy with that one. Okay, round 3, we've won the die roll. Let's reveal the Loris. Off we go. Another 1-lander. We've learned our lesson. We're going to mulligan. We can't cast a thing. This hand's way better. We're going to keep. Do we want the Professors of the Symbology or do we want the Selfless Spirit? We're going to throw away a Professor. And then we're going to hurt ourselves for 2. Run out the 8th of Isle. Pass the turn there. Forest from our opponent. Into an Arbor Elf. Oh, is this another red-green one? I don't like the red-green ones. 8th of Isle ticking up. Evolutionary Leap. That's pretty good. Horizon Canopy. Let's go for Professor of Symbology. Containment Breach hits Blood Moon, but it's sorcery, so the Blood Moon would already be down. I think we need to operate as if our thing is already going to be here, so let's go for a basic Conjuration. Pass the turn there. Stomping Ground, yep, it's the red-green. I think Karn is a really bad matchup for this deck. Yep, into a Bloodbraid Elf, okay. Pillage, yep, that hits our 8th of Isle. That hurts. That hurts a lot. Swinging in for 2, well, we'll just take it. Down to 14, go to our turn. Plains is good. Let's go to combat, swing in for 2. Let's go for our Bayou Groff. Pass the turn there. Hope to dodge a Chandra. Wooded Foothills. Swinging in for 3, yeah, sure, we'll block. You're going to bolt my Groff? Stomp, yep, that's cool. Play a Forest, and they play another Arbor Elf. Okay, Arbor Elf untapping the Forest. And down comes the big mean Bone Crusher Giant, and they pass to us. Forest is good, that means we can leap and Selfless Spirit. Can't hold up the leap. We could Conjuration, maybe hit a 1-drop. Take a turn off, get Loris to hand, get hit for 6. We've got 3 more life here though. A lot of decisions with this deck. All right, let's get the Loris to hand, pass the turn there. All right, Utopia Sprawl on the Forest, naming red again. They do get in for 6. We take it down to 8. Pillage on the Horizon Canopy, that's fine, I guess. Passes to us. Temple Garden. So Loris 8th of Isle, then Bolt for Loris, swing in for 6. We're dead. Gross. Temple Garden tapped. Let's go for the Selfless Spirit. Pass the turn there. Yeah, that Pillage on the Vial was rough. All right, they swing in. I guess we take it down to 2. And they got the Bolt. Yeah, okay, cool. They got us. Sideboarding. Quasali in, Gaddock Teague in, Uriok Champions in, Aethersworn Canonist in, Phyrexian Revoker in, and Winds of Abandon in. All right, so we're going to trim 2 Loyal Cathars. Let's trim all of them. 2 Groffs. Let's trim 1 Thalia. They are a lot of creatures, but Thalia is still good, but I think 2's enough. And another Groff. Run it back like that. Eesh. This is a very bad matchup for us. That Karn is just going to hurt when it comes down. Karn and Pillages, anything that deals with 8th of Isle hurts. Mulligan this hand. Yeah, I guess we can keep this one. Put the redundant Professor away. Razorverge Thicket. Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn. Windswept Heath from our opponent. Forest. Utopia Sprawl. Okay. Choosing red. Passing to us. Temple Garden. Let's play Gavany Township. Get the Professor down. Let's go for a Spirit Summoning here. Go to combat. Swing in for 1. Wooded Foothills. Cracks the Wooded Foothills. Tapping very quickly. Was this Blood Moon? Pillage on the land. Okay, sure. Passes to us. Let's play the Plains. Spirit Summoning. Go to combat. Swing in for 3. They take it down to 14. Pass the turn there. Seasoned Pyromancer. Ditches a Seasoned Pyromancer and a Tranquil Thicket. Okay. Passes the turn. Let's go to combat. Swing in with the Spirit. Opponent chumps. Temple Garden. Pay 2 life. Buy you Groff. Sacrifice the Professor. Pass the turn there. I know we paid 2 life for the Temple Garden, but I don't know what threat they're going to play. Yep, that's the Khan. Okay, cool. So we can name Khan with the Revoker. They're ticking down now. Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, passes the turn there. Horizon Canopy. Revoker. Names Khan. Let's go to combat. I think we just go at them. Yep, they're going to block the Spirit. We're going to add Loris to our hand. Pass the turn there. Opponent cracks for a Forest. Maybe this is a Blood Moon. Another Forest. Yep, Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. Passes to us. That's what the Noble Hierarch's for. Another land. Go to combat. Attack with the Noble Hierarch. Opponent's down to 7. Pass the turn there. Seasoned Pyromancer. Yep. Certainly stops our attacks. Ugh. Utopia Sprawl. Yep. Passes back to us. Another card we can't cast and we can't attack, so we'll just pass. Bloodbraid Elf. Cascading. Pillage. Hits our white source. Okay. This is proving difficult now. All right. Even Aether Vials don't help because we didn't attack Khan when we had the chance. Path doesn't help. Okay. Hang on. If we had the planes, we could have cast the Loris off the Noble Hierarch, couldn't we? Oh, I'm an idiot. I've mucked up. We could have been casting spells. Loris into Professor. Yeah, okay. I forgot the Noble Hierarch can tap for mana as well as attack. That's my bad, everybody. I'm sorry. Then we could have dealt with the Ensnaring Bridge when we had the advantage. Yeah, okay. We really should have won this one, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm just out of practice actually casting Loris. Yeah, making tokens with the Seasoned Pyromancer. That's literally what the engine is. All right, that's the Revoker gone. The engine is literally sack the Professor of Symbology to the Bayou, get the Loris down, get the Professor back, then we can get another card. Ugh. Again, we hit hard, but I'm mucking up, aren't I? It's all right. It's first league with the deck. We'll get there. Liquid Metal Coating. Okay. Just hard casting another Khan out there because they can. Blowing up lands. Yep. The annoying thing is, even though we know we've horribly misplayed, we can't scoop because we'll lose the match. It's an Aether Vial that does nothing. Should still play it though. It is correct to play it. Pass the turn there. All right. We need a white source. We had 2. We could have cast. Opponent reveals the Walking Ballista and we scoop it up. Yeah, that was entirely my fault. And I've just realized I could have pathed my Bayou Groff. Got myself the planes to cast the Loris. Yeah. No, that was my bad, everybody. All right, we've won the die roll. Yes, I'd like to go first. And yes, I'll reveal my Loris. And yeah, we're going to keep this one. So I took out the Giver of Runes for the Selfless Spirit, but honestly, I think we should go back. All right, Razor Verge, pass, because then we would have had a turn 1 play here. Yeah, a few deck building mistakes, few play mistakes, but we'll get there. All right, Radiant Fountain from our opponent. They gain 2 life. Into the Amulet of Vigor. Okay, passing to us. Professor of Symbology again. So Razor Verge Thicket. Let's get a Professor down. Okay, let's go for the Containment Breach. Pass the turn there. So hopefully there's only so much damage they can do with that Amulet of Vigor. Pass to them. Castle Garenbrig. Sure. And then Explore. Into a Simic Growth Chamber. It untaps. Return the Radiant Fountain. And then they've got the Sakura Tribe Scout. Okay. Into another amulet. Okay, cool. So I think now that we know they've got double amulet, we save the Containment Breach for a Dryad. So I think in there, draw a step, set a stop, swing in for 2. Opponent takes it. Do we? They've got the blue. There's an instant that puts a land into play. Do they run that? Cast sacrificing a creature. Get the Bayou Groff down. And yeah, we'll just blow up the Simic Growth Chamber now. Pass the turn there. Boros Garrison from our opponent. Yep. Summoner's Pact. Okay. Primeval Titan. Gross. It's the Boros Garrison. Okay, we might just straight up be dead here. They might have the fast attack win. Okay, they're spreading it out to the Sakura Tribe Elder. Interesting. Swinging in, getting lands into play. Vesuva and Sunhome Fortress. Right, that gives Primeval Titan double strike. So the Sakura Tribe Scout can put another land into play, but they've got no mana in the mana pool left. So if we block that, take 16. Then if we draw Path, whereas if we block here, take 12, 15. They're still both on the battlefield. I think we block here. I think. All right. Opponent puts a land into play. Radiant Fountain. Yep. Okay. Gaining some life. All right. We're down to 4. We draw Path. Hey! Better lucky than good. Path on the prime time. Opponent gets themselves a green source. Let's go Razorverge Thicket. So they have to pay 2 green and 1 of these. Then they have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. What can they do with 4 mana? A lot, I reckon. Let's go to combat. I am going to swing in. Then Professor of Symbology. Let's get ourselves a Reduce to Memory. Pass the turn there. Simic Growth Chamber. Okay, they've got all the mana in the world. But they do have a lot of lands in hand. Okay, they're just passing. Hex Drinker's pretty cool. Think we go Hex Drinker and Selfless Spirit. Combat. Swing in for 7. Pass the turn there. And hope we get there. Radiant Fountain. Okay. And passes. Well, let's level up this Hex Drinker. And I do believe that is lethal. Played that. I hope we played that correctly. And if not, you know what? That's actually a good thing. That means the deck's better than I can play it. All right, game 2 against this. Oh boy, what do we want against this? Quasali, Aethersworn Canonist, and Winds of Abandon, think is all we get. Revoker could name the little guy. I'm not sure we need that. We'll just get rid of the Loyal Cathars. They're basically just backup Voice of Resurgences. Yeah, and we're just going to run it back like that. We will reveal our Loris. Double Ghost Quarter might be good enough. Keep. Thing about Ghost Quarter is even if they have Amulet, we can hit the lands in response to what they do. All right, a castle from our opponent. That's a slow start. Let's go Temple Garden tapped. We also have a slow start opponent. Yep, there's the Amulet. Selesnya Sanctuary. Yep, tapping, untapping. Returns the Castle Garenbrig to hand. There's the Grazer. Okay. Simic Growth Chamber. Tapping, untapping. Into an Azusa. Maybe leading on the Ghost Quarter might have been the way to go there. We get the Castle Garenbrig. They pass the turn there. So... If their last card's Titan, we're in a lot of trouble. Even if we Ghost Quarter, we can't stop the Titan. We tap this for 2. Ghost Quarter, I think we take a turn off here. Just pass the turn. Then we can play the Razorverge Thicket, get the Thalia down, holding up the Ghost Quarter, and then hopefully we can get there. Another Amulet. Okay. Combat. Swings in for 1. Okay. Simic Growth Chamber. Gets Ghost Quartered. Opponent gets a Forest. No untap. Selesnya Sanctuary. Yep. Well, they're going for a lot of mana here, so I'd be interested to see if they don't have the Titan, what they play. They do indeed have the Titan. Alright, but it's post-combat. Can we repeat the magic of last game and rip the path off the top? Yes. Yes, we can. Plains, Winds of Abandon, cast on the Primeval Titan. Okay, they get a Forest. Okay. Maybe next turn we'll get to resolve a creature. Pass the turn there. Oh, I hate this game so much. Alright, Sakura Tribe Scout. So then all they've got is the land in hand. Yeah. Selesnya Sanctuary, tapping, untapping. Now, if that Teleria West gets to cycle, we are in so much trouble. Alright. Slayer's Stronghold, Vigilance and Haste to the Sakura Tribe Scout. Swinging in for 4. Okay. Now we take it. Another Professor of Symbology. Okay, well that's a removal spell for later. Let's play Ghost Quarter and Voice of Resurgence. Pass the turn there. Radiant Fountain from our opponent. Okay. Nothing nasty yet. Boreal Grazer getting Vigilance and Haste. Sure, we'll just take it. Down to 13. Go to our turn. Aether Vial. Okay. Let's play the Aether Vial. Run out the Thalia. Pass the turn there. No attacks. Aether Vial certainly makes things a bit more pleasant. Nothing from our opponent. Passing back to us. Counter on the Aether Vial. There's an actual factual path. Razorverge Thicket, it's going to enter tapped. Evolutionary Leap this turn. Pass the turn there. No attacks. Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Passes the turn. Aether Vial ticking up. Leonin Arbiter, okay. Just get Loris to hand, pass the turn there, and then we can start things from there. Kalni Garden, okay. Opponent doing the tapping and untapping thing. Let's evolutionarily leap our Voice of Resurgence. Get ourselves a 2/2. Noble Hierarch's a good pickup. And let's put a Leonin Arbiter into play. Go to our turn. Aether Vial, ticking up to 3. Bayou Groff, okay. Let's activate Aether Vial. Loris into play. Let's get back our Voice of Resurgence. Go to combat. Swing in for 5. Blocks with a plant token. Okay. Gonna pass the turn there. Not gonna play the Noble Hierarch deliberately. Want to be able to hold up Path and Ghost Quarter. Opponent casts an Engineered Explosives on 1. So it's with 2 colors. Okay. Sure. Well, let's use Evolutionary Leap. Hit our Thalia. Get another Bayou Groff. Okay. Get another Elemental. Pass there. Aether Vial can stay on 3. Another Leap's pretty cool. Let's cast Noble Hierarch. Voice of Resurgence, go to combat, swing in for 10. Opponent blocks 5 of it, pass the turn there. Nothing from our opponent and passing. Okay, 8th of Isle, staying on 3. It's another Professor of Symbology. Let's cast an Evolutionary Leap from bin. Opponent going with the Kozilek's Return. Add green mana with the Noble Hierarch. So we get an elemental. Kozilek's Return's going to happen. Unfortunately, Loris is going to go away, but all our elementals survive. And then we get another elemental. And now we get an Evolutionary Leap. Do we want that mana to go away? No, we don't. We're going to play a Professor of Symbology. I would normally just throw away the Evolutionary Leap, but I think Pest Summoning, go to our turn, swing in for 10. So I think all our opponent did, yeah, sure, they got rid of our Loris and stuff, but I think all they did was get rid of their blockers as well. Now we have Path and Ghost Quarter held up, so I feel pretty good about where we're at. Opponent scoops it up. Look at that. Won another match. Bayou Gruff was a bit difficult to cast there, I'm not going to lie. But we could, yeah. I mean, once we start getting the Professor of Symbologies down, then we can start getting rid of them for the Bayou Gruff. But I wonder if maybe they'd be better off as something else. They are cute. I do like them. They're very good when we're doing stuff with our Leaps, with our Loris. But I think we need cards that are good without the Leaps and Loris. All right. Alrighty, final round. We've won the die roll. We're going to go first and we're going to reveal our Loris. And I'm going to keep this one. We can't cast the Loyal Cathar, but if we have to, we can discard it. So let's start on Razorverge Thicket. And you know what? We're going to go with an early Hex Drinker. Pass the turn there. Cavern of Souls from our opponent. Dryad. Okay, is this another Titan deck? It is another Titan deck. All right, let's see if we can do this again. Horizon Canopy. So let's go Forest. Professor of Symbology. Let's get, so Containment Breach is good. Reduce to Memory is also good, but they get a creature. I think Containment Breach. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Hope this turn's not super explosive. And then we can Containment Breach the Amulet of Vigor. Pass the turn there. Crumbling Visage. Okay. That's the Dryad. Radiant Fountain. Okay. And the Sakura Tribe Scout. Okay. New plan. Forest. Containment Breach on the Dryad. Combat, get in with both. They want to trade a Scout for our Hex Drinker. I'm fine with that. Yep. Okay. They did. Pass the turn there. Boros Garrison. Okay. That's going to let them return the Cavern of Souls, which they don't do. They're going for the Visage. Okay. Passing to us. Another Hex Drink is good. Another Hex Drink is very good. Horizon Canopy. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Opponent takes it down to 16. Then let's go Voice of Resurgence. Hex Drinker. And put 1 level counter on the Hex Drinker. Pass the turn there. All right. There's the Vestige. And adds the green. What does that get you? Summoner's Pact. Okay. For a Dryad. Come on, removal for the Dryad. That would make me so happy. All right. That's an Azusa. Passing the turn there. Let's level up this Hex Drinker. Run out another Voice. Go to combat. All out swing. Opponent takes it down to 10. Pass the turn there. They're going to tap all their lands. Oh no, they got one untapped. Arboreal Grazer. That's actually a really solid pickup for them. Oh, I wanted a removal for that Dryad. I mean, we've already killed the Dryad this game. You can't ask for too much, can you? The opponent passes. Let's go Noble Hierarch. Go to combat. Swing with everything. Yep, opponent blocking like that. Nope, changing some things around. Yep, keeping it like it is. All right, they killed a Voice of Resurgence, which means we get another big boy. So now we're going to get Loris to hand. Pass the turn there. Selesnya Sanctuary from our opponent. Okay. Radiant Fountain to hand. Oh, they drew the Titan. They hit the Titan. Okay. There's some Valakut shenanigans then. Double Valakut. Okay. Oh no, just one Valakut. Interesting. 2 triggers. Looks like both are pointed at our face. They are in fact both pointed at our face. Haste and Vigilance. Okay. I think we're dead. I think they got us. Yep. Another Valakut. That's enough triggers. We are dead. Gross. Oh, damn. Too slow. Too slow. We were in control most of that game and they just managed to play through it. Okay. In comes the Winds of Abandon, the Quasali, Aethys Sworn Canonist. I think that's it. Revoker could be cool. Well, we're going down the Loyal Cathars. Do we want a Revoker? Over a Bayou Gruff? Sure. Does Gaddock Teague stop anything they're doing? I don't think they got any big spells. All right. Run it back like that. Yes, I would like to play first. Yes, I will reveal my Loris. All right, we're leaning heavy on the 8th of Isle here. Could be dead before we get to put anything into play with it. It's a great hand, but we can't even cast the Path. That's a mulligan. Another 1-land Vial has Quasali. I think Quasali's good enough. Yeah, keep. Throw away a Groff. Horizon Canopy, Aether Vial, pass the turn there. Lands would be very nice. Noble Hierarch would be a good draw. Alright, opponent passes to us. They play a Kelny Garden and a plant. They pass to us. Tick up our Aether Vial. Neither. Well, we're passing. Radiant Fountain from our opponent. And they also pass the turn. Okay. Aether Vial, ticking up. Arbiter. Well, we'll just pass the turn there. Forest from our opponent. Azusa, if that was a Dryad. Okay. Teleria West. Turn Timber Symbiosis. Okay. They're passing to us. Aether Vial. Yep. Put in a Bayou Groff. Hits the hardest. Go to our turn. Aether Vial is staying on the 2. Path to Exile's a good pickup here. Go to combat. Swinging for 5. Opponent blocks with the plant. Sure. Pass the turn there. Primeval Titan. In response, Aether Vial. Yes. Leonin Arbiter. Okay. Primeval Titan comes down. Can't search. Simic Growth Chamber from our opponent. Okay. Turns a land to hand. Misty Rainforest. Yep. Path to exile that Primeval Titan now. Go to our turn. Aether Vial. Staying on 2. Another voice. Okay. Combat. Swing in for 7. Opponent takes it down to 15. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent's paying the Arbiter cost. Cracking the Misty Rainforest. Searching for a breeding pool. Transmutes the Teleria West. Yep. Casting a Dryad. Okay. Activate our Aether Vial. Aethersworn Canonist down. Keep the Aether Vial on 2. Let's go to combat. Swing in for 5. And blocks with the Azusa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's just pass the turn there. Forest from our opponent. Casts an Azusa. Okay. Well, Aether Vial. Yep. Gonna use it. Let's go for a Voice of Resurgence here. Go to our turn. Keep the Aether Vial on 2. Alright, opponent summoners packs in our turn. Doesn't pay the Arbiter tax. Does in response. Okay. Sure. What are you searching up? That is the Titan. Keep the Aether Vial on 2. Evolutionary Leap that we cannot cast. Go to combat. Just swing in for 7. Opponent snap blocks both. Okay. Get another elemental. Pass the turn there. Hopefully they get like Valakut Vesuva here, if they can afford it. Sakura Tribe Scout. Okay. Passing to us with only Titan in hand. Activate our Aether Vial. Yes. Voice of Resurgence down. Okay. Aether Vial. Okay. Stays on 2. That's path. Activate Aether Vial. Yes. Quasali Pride Mage. Target the Dryad. And opponent scoops it up. We cast an Aether Vial that game. Everything else... No, we cast an Aether Vial and a path. Everything else was just... one land win. One land win. I love it. Alright, that was good. That felt good. I think that's all we got. Run it back like that. Alright, they get to go first this time. Come on, show me a fast Arbiter hand. Reveal our Loris. Alright, it's not a fast Arbiter hand, but I do like it. Symbology. Professor of Symbology is certainly good in this matchup. Alright, Forest from them. Into the Amulet. Alright, passes to us. That is the Arbiter though. Razorverge Thicket. Noble Hierarch. Pass. Alright, the only way this gets better is if a Ghost Quarter comes off the top. Just a Valakut. Okay. Dismember. Aggressive. They're hoping we're stuck on one land again. Passes to us. Thalia. That's cool. Horizon Canopy. Noble Hierarch again. Yep. Pass the turn there. Misty Rainforest from our opponent. They crack it. Breeding Pool. They get it tapped, so they get to untap it. It's pretty gross. And that's the Dryad. Okay. And the Castle Garenbrig. So a Titan next turn, perhaps? Passes to us. Come on, path. No, Razorverge. Let's go Razorverge Thicket. Leonin Arbiter. Professor of Symbology. We can get Containment Breach. That stops the Dryad. We can get Reduced to Memory. That stops both. I think with Bayou Groff, we might be okay with just Containment Breach, and we get another token out of it. All right, I'm going to try Containment Breach. Pass the turn there. Engineered Explosives, X equals 2. Yep, nothing, and passes. Okay, Containment Breach. Get rid of the Dryad. Ooh, before combat opponent. Sloppy. Now I get to get him for 1. All right, opponent takes it down to 14. Pass the turn there. Another Dryad. That hurts my feelings a lot. And the Sakura Tribe Scout, gross. Passes to us. Another Thalia is not what I wanted to see there. White-green, Voice of Resurgence, green-green, sacrifice a Voice of Resurgence, get a Bayou Groff, pass the turn there. We need to present a clock fast enough that they need to block with that Dryad. Selesnya Sanctuary. Okay. Add mana. This looks like a Titan. Ugh. It is a Titan. Oh no. Oh no. Just get all the Valakuts and kill us directly? I think they can. Slayer's Stronghold on the Primeval Titan, which means they get to attack, which means they get 2 more lands, which enter as mountains, and we are dead, unfortunately. Ah, that's rough. That's very rough. All right, they got us. Alrighty, we went 2-3. Not what I wanted to have happen. What did we think of the Strixhaven, Green-White, Loris, Death and Taxes, Loris Leap, Green-White Hatebears, whatever you want to call it? I go with Loris Leap. I love it. I think some of the numbers need to move around, but overall pretty solid. The new cards, Professor of Symbology is awesome. The Learn mechanic is great. Lets us run a bunch of different cards that we might want to tutor for. Various effects. The Destroy an Enchantment is great. Basic Conjuring almost acts like a Collected Company, and because there's no Collected Company in the deck, it's really good at hitting what we need. So being able to, you know, Professor of Symbology into a Basic Conjuring, hit an Arbiter, and then we can get our opponent with the Arbiter feels pretty good. Definitely grindy games. I think a Gavany Township here or there, if we were able to get an activation off, would have changed the result of some of them. Definitely a lot of misplays on my part. I can only apologize. I'm still learning the deck because I only built it a couple of hours ago. But overall, it feels pretty good. The sideboard definitely hurts with the lesson package, but before we had the lesson package, I think the sideboard was mostly just 2 to 3 copies of each card. Having 1 to 2 feels okay. We can use Professor of Symbology to get the basic Conjuring to tutor it up. We have Evolutionary Leap to dig for it. Maybe we go full Hatebears and use a lot of silver bullets, just run the 1 Leonin Arbiter, and then we can run things like Eldorami's Call to tutor up what we need to tutor up. And Aether Violet in, that would feel pretty good. 2 mana, Eldorami's Call, get the thing, Aether Violet in, that would feel pretty good. I'm going to test that. I'm going to test a deck without Arbiter. I know that's probably a sin, but even just a 1 of Arbiter. Now, as far as new cards go, Bayou Groff. Bayou Groff. When it lands, it hits very hard. When we can sacrifice a Loyal Cathar or a Voice of Resurgence to it, it is amazing. Viling it in, incredible. If we can't do that, we have the backup loop of Bayou Groff hitting the Professor of Symbology. So we sack the Professor of Symbology to cast the Bayou Groff. Then we recast the Professor of Symbology with our Loris, and we get to learn again. Now that's great when it works. I think if we want that style of effect, maybe Bayou Groff isn't the way to go because it's an additional cost and we must pay it. Maybe I can find something that gives us the opportunity to loop things like that. And I think the Professor of Symbology loop with Evolutionary Leap is good enough and definitely plays more into the style of what the deck wants to do. I was very impressed with Loyal Cathar turning into Unhallowed Cathar. That is an effect that I love. I don't think we got to see it go off too often in the league, but I think it's a pretty solid card. I learned that playing the Winota Humans deck. Unfortunately, we didn't get to verse any decks like Control or anything like that, but we versed a tough gauntlet. We didn't come out positive, but we put up a good fight in every match. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, have fun.